Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Tim. I'm the host of the Glass House News Show and the CEO of Glass House Media. Welcome. I'm glad you could find us. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. Glad you could join us today. So today I want to start with this story that is a little bit underreported. Not very many people are reporting the full story. The story is that a laptop was stolen from Pelosi's office. And during the storming of the U.S. Capitol, an aide close to her says. So this is from Reuters. A laptop was stolen from the office of the U.S. House of Representative Speaker Nancy Pelosi's office during the storming of the U.S. Capitol on Wednesday, one of her aides said on Friday. So this is just a few days ago. Drew Hamill, an aide to Pelosi, said on Twitter that the laptop belonged to a conference room and was used for presentations. He declined to offer further details. The theft of electronic devices from congressional offices has been a persistent worry about following the invasion by pro-Trump followers. They were encouraged by Republican President Donald Trump to rally beforehand to march to the Capitol while Congress was certifying Democrat Joe Biden's November 3rd election win. His alleged win, mind you. So, yes, Donald Trump did encourage these people to march on Congress. No, he did not incite the violence. This is a common trope that we are hearing, a Democratic talking point that we're hearing right now. Is Donald Trump incited the violence? Okay, what do you think all of the Democratic establishment was doing all year long? They were inciting violence, telling people go out into the streets, go loot, burn, destroy. In fact, we saw people like Maxine Waters tell people to go harass Republicans. And now, all of a sudden, they want to pretend to be outraged when Donald Trump tells them to come to this rally. Donald Trump didn't tell them to get wild. He didn't tell them to break into the Capitol building. Right? And while we're on this comparisons, how can you compare $3 billion worth of damage, dozens of people dead, 1,000 police officers injured or killed, fires in the streets, businesses destroyed? How can you compare all of that to 4 people dead and a couple of broken windows and a stolen laptop and a lectern? How can you compare those two? It is a very, very morally disgusting and intellectually bankrupt argument that they are making. I will sit here and I will condemn both. But don't sit here and pretend that they're different. The left, BLM and Antifa, did riot and destroy federal government buildings. So don't pretend to be outraged that the right just broke into the Capitol building, when the left has been doing it all year long. If you didn't condemn the violence then, you don't get to be upset about the violence now. You don't get to make a big deal out of it. That is where we're at. That is the only logical, morally sound conclusion you can draw from what just happened. Everyone on the right is saying, no, that shouldn't have happened. But people on the left are acting like people on the right are approving of what just happened. No, nothing could be further from the truth. I don't know a single person on the right that approves of what just happened last week at the Capitol building. I do know a lot of people on the right that are saying, you get what you get. Democrats, you've made this bed. Now you get to lie in it. And so back onto this theft of a computer. We do have a confirmation that it is in the hands of the federal government. Open post. Trump to Pelosi, we have your laptop. Retired Air Force Lieutenant General Thomas McInerney confirmed that a laptop taken from House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's office last week's Capitol riot is in the hands of military special forces. I've seen the laptop our special forces took out, McInerney told a group of reporters at the White House on Saturday. Pelosi and other top Democratic lawmakers are in a state of panic after laptops, USB drives, and sensitive documents were stolen from their offices while they huddled together inside the Capitol building during the riots on Wednesday, January 6th. In addition to Pelosi's missing laptop, an aide tweeted that a laptop was used only for presentations and was removed from a conference room. Oregon Senator Jeff Merkley, a Democrat, also reported a laptop was stolen from his office during the Capitol riots. And all these Democrats are really upset now that it's their things that are being taken and destroyed. But they don't mind when your stuff, your businesses, your cars, the lives of your children are taken from you. They don't mind. They're only going to throw a fit when it affects them. Whereas the Republicans are a little more consistent. We're upset all the way around. All we're saying is, I'm glad the Democrats finally got a taste of their own medicine. You've had this coming for a decade. So, sit down and take your medicine. Donald Trump represents a clear and present danger to the health and safety of the American people as well as our democracy. This is House Representative Hakeem Jeffries, a Democrat. He said on NBC, Meet the Press on Sunday, that's why House Democrats are united in demanding and seeking his immediate removal. Oh boy. We're going to go through this whole impeachment bullcrap once again. They think they're going to be able to impeach him before he's removed, or before he has to leave office in 8 days. 8 days. But this Lieutenant Army Colonel, I'm sorry, not Army, Air Force. Who is he? This retired 3-star General McInerney. It is, let's see. Who is he? Thomas G. McInerney was once a highly respected military leader who became the Air Force Assistant Vice Chief of Staff. He graduated from the U.S. Military Academy in 1959 and later earned a master's degree in international relations from the George Washington University in 1972. Does this sound like the guy that's just going to pull crap out of his butt and make stuff up? Not really. I think he knows what he's talking about. He confirmed the U.S. Special Forces have her laptop. And now, the Democrats are trying to double down on censoring Donald Trump. They tried it by banning him from Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, and now they're trying to remove him from office. And they're banning and trying to censor so many other Republicans. Where this Axios article says that it's actually having the opposite effect of what they want to. The ideas are not going away. They're just moving to other places. By banning Parler from Amazon, the Amazon web servers, these ideas, these people aren't leaving. They're just going to other places. So these Democrats that are complaining about Republicans only existing in echo chambers, whose fault do you think that is? You're the one that's banning them from mainstream places, and all they have left to go to is echo chambers. You are pigeonholing them and then hating them for it. That would be like me telling you, how dare you watch my videos? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. We see apps like Signal, which has grown 677% since the banning of Donald Trump from Twitter. This is just from January 5th to 10th. What is Signal? Signal is a instant messenger app. Edward Snowden says, I use Signal every day because they can't. No one can track what's going on in here. Jack Dorsey, the CEO of Twitter, says, I trust Signal because it's well built, but more importantly because of how it's built. Open source, peer-reviewed, and funded entirely by grants and donations. A refreshing model for how critical services should be built. Laura Poitras, Oscar-winning filmmaker and journalist, says Signal is the most scalable encryption tool we have. It is free and peer-reviewed. I encourage people to use it every day. Bruce Schneier, internationally renowned security technologist. I am regularly impressed with the thought and care put into both the security and the usability of this app. It's my first choice for an encrypted conversation. They've grown by over 600%, almost 700% between January 5th and 10th, all because Democrats said, let's ban conservatives. Clout Hub, same story. They've seen a growth rate of almost 500%. And Clout Hub is they on their website, they call themselves a next generation social networking for social, civic, and political networking. Clout Hub is social media you can trust. It is a non-biased platform. We support free speech and protect your privacy. We don't data mine, track, or sell user data. We don't suppress your reach or manipulate what you get to see. We empower our members to influence the issues they care about. So Clout Hub is the exact response to Facebook and Twitter, using our personal data from our phones and selling them to companies so that they can make more money. That's what Facebook and Twitter do. That's what they've been doing for the past couple of decades since their conception, since their inception. This is what they do. MeWe, same story. They've seen a growth rate of 250%. Their mission statement is trust, control, safety, and positive connection. MeWe has an honorable business model where members are customers to serve and protect, not data to be shared or sold. You have full control over your news feed and the order of how posts appear. We do not manipulate, filter, or change the order of your news feeds. MeWe is committed to creating a safe place for all walks of life to connect and communicate without fear of intimidation or bullying. MeWe empowers you and enriches your world. It's the fun, uplifting social media experience in the spirit of trust, control, and love. And I said in my show yesterday, we saw Gab growing by 10,000, 10 million, something like that, users per hour, all because Twitter is banning conservatives. And we've seen this ridiculous argument come up from the left. Oh, but you were okay with a Christian cake baker not baking a cake for a gay wedding. So we're going to ban conservatives because we're a private business and we can do whatever we want. Okay. Yes, I do support the freedom of religion, and I do think any business should be able to sell or refuse service to anyone for any reason. I think businesses should be able to discriminate based on any reason whatsoever. That might make them a terrible person, but they have that right. They do. Now, here's why the story of Twitter and Facebook and Instagram are different. Under U.S. law, Section 230, we've heard a lot about this. 47 U.S. Code Section 230, which is the protective of private blocking and screening of information and material, right? So let's scroll all the way down to Section C, which is the protection for Good Samaritan blocking and screening of offensive material. All right, let's look at what it says, okay? Because to understand the law, you have to actually understand what it says. You have to know what it says. 1, the treatment of publisher or speaker. No provider or user of an interactive computer services shall be treated as the publisher or speaker of any information provided by another information content provider. What does that mean? YouTube is not responsible for what I say. They're not. Until they start to remove my content. Section 2 of Section 3. Of Section C. Civil liability. No provider or user of interactive computer services shall be held liable on account of any action voluntarily taken in good faith to restrict access or availability of material that the provider or user considers to be obscene, lewd, lascivious, filthy, excessively violent, harassing, or otherwise objectionable, whether or not such material is constitutionally protected, or any action taken to enable or make available to information content providers or others the technical means to restrict access to materials described in paragraph 1. So what does that mean? The key of this argument is good faith. Any action voluntarily taken in good faith will not be they will not be held liable. And I think we can say the banning of Donald Trump is not out of good faith. It's because they hate him. The banning of people like his lawyer Sidney Powell and General Michael Flynn is not out of good faith. Okay, out of good faith would be, oh, he's threatening to kill people. We need to shut that down. No, they banned Donald Trump after he tweeted to his supporters in D.C., stay calm, do not riot. And then when they started rioting, Nancy Pelosi tried early on in the night to call in the National Guard. And the Pentagon told her, nope. They basically flipped her the bird. They said, you can't use the National Guard as your private security after telling major cities across America and Donald Trump that they can't use the National Guard to defend themselves from angry rioters and idiots trying to destroy their cities. And then only later, after the rioters started, Donald Trump and Mike Pence called in the National Guard, and the Pentagon said, okay, fine, whatever. And you think to yourself, how can they side with a fascist like Donald Trump? Because he's at least consistent in who he's going to call in the National Guard on. He wanted to call in the National Guard on the rioters back 6 months ago, and he did it last week. Something you can't say about Nancy Pelosi. Say what you want about both of them. At least Donald Trump's consistent about who he's going to call in the National Guard on. Donald Trump's stance on terrorism is pretty consistent. Mine is as well. I'll call anyone who destroys government property for a political ideology or to move and forward their political goals. I'll call anyone that does that a terrorist. The left won't. The left will say, oh, but it's different. They're fighting for equality. Their voices are unheard. Okay. So are the Republicans. The vast majority of their lawsuits were thrown out because of lack of standing. Not lack of evidence. They were thrown out on procedural grounds, not lack of evidence. These people are fighting to have their voices heard. They're fighting for equality. So what now, say you? What do you have to say for yourself, Democrats? You have made this bed. You have set the precedent for violence and destruction in the streets. And now the Republicans are living up to that standard. They're playing by your rules, and now you want to be upset? Sorry, no, that's not how any of this works. You don't get to be upset about what one side does when they're doing the exact same thing your side does. That's called hypocrisy. The Democratic Party has become now the fascistic party in America. It's time for us to recognize that and to shut them down. And the only way to do that is to grow alternative media sources like Glasshouse News, Daily Wire, Prager University, The Epoch Times, Blaze Media. So please, consider subscribing to my channel. Share this video with your friends to make sure that they get the information they need to make wise choices at the polls. Thanks, have a good night, try not to burn down the country while I'm gone, and even if you do, I'll be here tomorrow to cover it. Have a good night.